Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was running a little bit behind, but I'm here and didn't even change into a yoga shirt. But this is my junior year high school t-shirt. Yes, it says Banneker Fall Festival 85. That's right, class of 86. Whoop, whoop, represent. Okay. Silliness, it's Friday. I'm Belinda. Welcome to Just Be Yoga and our home yoga practice live. This has been a fun week where we've been exploring, or I've been exploring, hopefully with you joining me, pratyahara, sense withdrawal, and how our senses affect our practice, how our senses affect our relationship with the world, as well as our quietude, right? Our pursuit of our senses really impacts our quietude of mind. And that quietude I'm referring to is like that harmony that we're seeking in the coming together of the yoga. Remembering that yoga means to unify, to bring together. Good morning, Claudia. So today is our Friday. We're coming to our fundamentals. It's a basic class where we're going to work on various fundamentals of poses, fundamentals of standing, fundamentals of seated, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to see how I can weave in pratyahara. Before we get started, feel free to say hello. I see that Claudia has said hello. Also, if there's anything that you want to share about how this journey of exploring your relationship with your senses has been going, that'll be nice just to kind of get a sense of some feedback, as well as it can help direct me to either helping you develop something a little bit more or direct you to a resource. So feel free, type in anytime that you like. And why don't we actually get started today standing? All right, so good morning to everyone. Once again, I'm Belinda, and we're here with Just Be Yoga, and this is our home yoga practice, Friday morning, 10:30. Grateful to have everybody who is here with us. Let's find a way of standing and first bring our mind and attention just in how we place our body. Feel your feet, your legs, place your feet where you want them, right? So I'm already starting to notice I had been walking, I think, for a bit this week, kind of like this. So even just that rotation of bringing my feet to an even parallel space, I'm feeling this tension here. Also been doing a little bit more running. All right, so we've got the shoulders up, back, and down, letting the chin rest downward. And maybe if you're comfortable doing so, if it doesn't create any sort of discomfort or dis-ease for you, let's see if we can close the eyes. Remember that choice is always yours. You have agency over yourselves. So I make suggestions. You don't have to do them. I want you to make the best choices for your safety, as well as being honest about what you can step up to and engage in. I don't even want to use the word challenge. So as you see, I'm trying to navigate my words this morning. Let's feel the weight in our feet. So as your eyes are closed, bring your awareness into each toe. Can you feel each toe without moving them? Can you feel the bottoms of your feet? And where do you notice the pressure? If you could map, if you could draw the bottoms of your feet and put a dot on various points, where would they be? How does that pressure feel? Is there anything you would want to do right now to even it out or balance it out? Feel the skin in your ankles and your shins. I mean the skin. What do we get to notice about that experience? Are we experiencing the skin in our ankles and our shins? Now feel the bones underneath of that skin. Feel the bones in your feet. Your knees. How about a soft bend and straighten, and feel. Notice what changes when you actually bring movement to something and how much you're more aware of it. With these eyes closed as well. And then let's stand up straight. Feel the knees now without moving. What are you aware of? In the skin, in the muscles, in the tendons, in the bones. Feel your thighs. Wrap around. Feel the inside of your thighs. What parts of the skin on the inner thighs are touching? How does that feel? How much pressure is that? Start to notice how much you might have attributed things to nothing, but then when you bring your mind to it, you notice that there is something there. The sense of touch is a really intricate and in-depth sense awareness. All right, we're going to do some pelvic tilts, back and forth, back and forth. I'll turn sideways for this. So we're tilting back and forth, pelvis. Feel the muscles, feel the skin, feel the working, feel the bones. And then settle into what feels like a balanced space. Feel the skin around your tummy and around your waist. Without touching that area, how do you know you're feeling it? Now we probably have some clothing draping on it. Maybe there's some temperature or an air gust. But notice how much movement and actual contact are what we need in order to feel a sense of touch. Feel your ribs in your chest. Can you lift and grow there? And then what do you feel in the belly when you lift the chest intentionally? Feel the bones in the shoulder blades. Maybe move the shoulders up and down. Are you only aware of the front of the shoulders, the upper part of the arm? Or can you feel the actual blades sliding up and down your upper back? And then root that down, lift the chest up. Now feel your arms. Your eyes are closed. We're feeling our arms. Can you breathe while you're doing all of this intentional feeling? What sections of your arm are you more aware of right now without being cued? Grow tall through the back of your neck. How much of your throat and your neck can you be aware of without being cued? Your jaw, your lips, your cheeks. Now open the eyes. Feel your eyes, your forehead, your eyebrows. Now scan from the feet all the way up. What is going on and how much of your entire being are you occupying standing? This is standing. This is Tadasana. This is a posture. This isn't a space to be in, waiting for anything else to happen. Can we fully occupy and practice this? What is lifting? What is rooting? Is your rooting creating deadened pressure in your feet? Is your lifting creating any stress in the neck and shoulders? Where is the ease we can find right now? Let your tummy breathe. Beautiful. Eyes open, but let's keep the eyelids kind of heavy. And let's breathe in and lift up. Now push the hips forward, lift up through the chest. What can you notice about your root, your feet? What are you feeling? Pressure, temperature, texture? How much of nuance, of sense of feeling can we have? What amount of nuance and feeling do we get from breathing unto itself? Touch yourself with your breath. And then forward fold, let it go. Feel the journey because movement in itself delivers a sense of touch. Now go ahead and keep the knees soft, okay? We're doing the most basic of the forward bending. Look at your feet. Notice if anything adjusted. Mine did, so I'm bringing them back to a more neutral parallel space. Envision the bones in your back. Your neck, your arms, can you let them go? You don't need to exert any power or effort over the body here other than observing. And let's slowly roll the spine up. Maybe just keep your attention on one zone of the body and notice the feelings and how the feelings change. Come back to the mountain, practice it. Breathe and inhale, lift. Push the feet down, push the hips forward, grow tall through the belly button. Don't suck in the breath. Exhale, forward, fold, feel all that we can feel in the transition. Keep your mind and attention on your focal area, wherever it is, and we're going to roll the spine up. Feel the focal area. Find the mountain, feel the focal area. Breathe in and lift. Observe what you can about that focal area and release. Feel the focal area coming out, okay? So you can have your awareness be dispersed throughout your entire body, or you can be choosing through any sequence to be observing one focal point area. You can switch those focal points, but give the focal point area some time. Let's plant the palms, and we're going to step back to plank. So we're going to change from a fundamental standing, which was mountain, to what I like to say is mountain in the shape of a push-up. Because this is just the same shape of the body, except the arms are out in front of us. Breath. You can always have your knees down. Wherever you are, notice that I'm going to lean this chest forward, okay? I'm not going to sag in the belly. I'm not going to sag in the shoulders. I'm going to stand with intention, nipples over thumbs. So we can stay here or tuck the toes and straighten the legs and breathe. Now observe all the points in contact. Notice the hands. Where is the pressure in the hands? What knuckles? Can you distribute that? Can you disperse that? Breath. We might start to feel heat. We might start to feel trembling. Let's bring the knees down. Maybe knees wide. Sink the hips back for child's pose. You could put a pillow down for your head. So now we're on the knees, and we've got the body in a folded position. Knees wide will make space for your belly and your organs. It might be a little kinder on the back. If you want your inner thighs together, great. We get to feel the point of contact of the thighs with the belly and the chest. Use the breath again to touch yourselves from the inside out, delivering sensation, texture, massage. Observe your mind. Where are your thoughts? Even if your thoughts are like, man, this is my first time in this class is really boring, or this class is whack, let your mind be on that thought and say, wow, that's where I am. This is me having irritation. And I commend anybody who sticks with it through that irritation. Good. Now let's come on back up. All right, so that was your basic child's pose. You could be on a cushion on the knees. Some of us can't do child's poses at all, depending on what's going on with our knees and our hips. So now I'm going to bring my wrists under my shoulders. If you are new, I am in no way saying you have to do any of this in any order. I'm just bringing up various postures. I'm going to talk about the basic fundamentals of how to position yourself there. And then I've been keeping the context within pratyahara, and that's sense withdrawal or sense awareness, which has been our theme for the whole week. All right, so wrists under your shoulder sockets, knees under your hip joints. Notice where you are. Feel that out, deliberately placing yourself. Now, I like to shift back and forth a little bit just to warm things up. Feel the hands supporting me. A little bit of lubrication in this tabletop. Notice in between the shoulder blades, what wants to move, what doesn't want to move. Notice my back, my hips. Good, and then left and right. Feeling weight shifting. Now, bring your awareness into the points of contact with the floor. And as you're shifting weight, you get to feel that change and vary. Again, our awareness of sensation. Feel the muscles in your upper arms. They kind of get to grip a little bit as you shift from side to side. Feel that gripping. Feel muscle engagement. What is that sensation? Let's come to a neutral space. We'll extend one leg back. So now there's a lot of sensation we can feel here. We've got two arms. You get to feel out balancing, pressing back through the heel, squeezing the muscles of the leg. We get to feel the weight of our leg. Can you feel the weight of your own leg? While you're here, can you feel the weight of your head? Can you relax your neck enough to feel the weight of your head? How about your jaw and your jowls? What can I feel just using the sensation of touch? Now we'll twist the hip open. Don't worry about how much. This is a feeling exercise. And notice what you feel in your groin, your abdomen, your waist, and twist it back close. And then we'll twist it open. Breathe. Did you have to lean in the arms? What are the arms telling you? Could you balance that out? I had leaned into my right arm. And close the hip. And then we'll bring that leg down. How about we give the wrists a break? Because maybe you've been feeling some pressure, some tightness from all of that compression. I'm noticing, I guess somebody has a jackhammer outside. After that, my hearing is distracting me. I'm going to have to find peace with it. All right, let's do wrist rotations. Feel the wrists releasing whatever is the compressed feeling that started to accumulate. Change direction. You can make this a practice. Just close the eyes. Feel, breathe. Feel expansion as you spread the fingers nice and wide. How much expansion into the center of the palm can you feel? Skin, muscles. Good. Now we'll bring the hands to the low back. Always stay with anything as long as you like. We're here to connect. You are here to connect with you and your body, your breath, your mind. I'm here to connect with mine. I've got a little bit of space in between my inner thighs. Hands are at the low back. Now I'm pressing down on the low back. Try to see if you can notice here. I'm going to do it feels like a subtle shift, but can you see this angle where my butt is back a little bit? The thighs are in this angle here. I want to get my thighs is about as perpendicular as I can. And that's kind of doing a bit of a hip thrust. Now I've got my hands at the low back and I'm pressing downward a bit with the hips forward. Now I'm just going to grow the chest upward. Not even a back bend. Notice if you were in a hurry to get anywhere. Now let's just feel all that we feel. Keep your gaze forward. Feel your hips. Feel the skin, the contents of your belly, your organs. Breath, go ahead and let it protrude. Let it protrude. Observe any resistance that you have to actually wanting to soften and let the tummy protrude. Push down with the hands so that we're not crunching the vertebrae in your spine. See if you can bring your awareness into each vertebra. Can you pull and feel them pulling apart? Come back to the tummy feeling. Good. And then we'll release. Let's bring the hands back down. Come back to our tabletop. We're going to do the other leg. Don't be in a hurry. Give yourselves the same attention about where you put the wrists, where you put the shoulders, where you have the knees, not dumping in the chest. And then we'll extend the other leg back. I can't remember which one I called out. For me, this is my right leg. Now I'm going to deliberately push back through the heel, and I definitely feel the back of that right calf. I feel the skin tight wrapping around the back of that calf. I feel the air on my toes more than I feel anything else. Now, as I continue to thrust through that heel, I can feel the Achilles tendon a little bit. And then I would say I characterize something just as an overall feeling of a little bit of fatigue, of feeling the weight of holding that leg extended. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stop. I'm just feeling the wear of working. And then twist. Feel. Don't go for a look. Just feel the twisting. And close. Did your twisting knock yourself over? There's a lot for us to observe in that feeling. And twist. Would you characterize something as feeling good? What is about it that feels good? And close. Relax your face, relax your mind. Maybe remember, why are you on your mat? And then let's twist. Feel. Is something feeling difficult? What does difficult feel like? Is it the amount of exertion? Is it the stretch? Is it extension? Is it compression? What is it? And close. And then we'll bring that knee down and make our way back up. All right, now I could talk about a whole bunch of physiological, anatomical stuff. I'm really trying to get us out of that and bring this into this inner journey so that as best we can while we're at home doing our practice, that we're learning how to make our yogic practice our own. And it's for a pursuit of our own self-realization, self-actualization, that quiet mind. And to me, if I'm going to throw a whole bunch of anatomy, kinesiology, physiology at you, that's just too much mind candy, academic candy, and it doesn't lead toward a quiet mind. Hands to the low back. Find out your alignment. Maybe finding some lift and some space in your vertebra. Hear your breath. Maybe close the eyes here. And feel all of these sensations now with the eyes closed. What's different? Is there something more innately calming about closing the eyes, or nerve-wracking? We all experience all of these states differently. Hips forward, chest lifting. Let the tummy breathe. We're experiencing lengthening and all of the sensations wrapping around the waist, wrapping around the hips. Feel sensation in 360 degrees. Feel sensation vertically up and down in the chest. Observe sensation with our eyes closed. Observe sensation. Good. And then let's find child's pose. Whatever is comfortable for you. We'll bring the hands down. I'm going to change my child's pose now to bring my knees together. Knees together starts to kind of stretch the spine up and down the spinal column, creating length. Knees wide opens the hip and the low back a little bit more. And I want to bring this in tension because it tends to feel confining. And for me, when I feel something confining, I instantly hear my mental words go, I can't. And I lean into, in my yoga practice, anything that says can't. I say, oh, there's something to look at there. Is that true? I just probe into it. Is that true? And it isn't that I can't be here. It's that there are some places that don't feel as free, moksha, as free and open. And of course not, right? A compressed space, a contracted space, doesn't feel as free as a big, wide open, expansive space. It doesn't mean that there isn't freedom to find here. It's just different. It feels different. And then I get to confront all of my resistance to anything that feels different. Breathe. So what's freeing right now is the big, long stretch up and down my back and my neck, if I will allow it. And perhaps on this journey, the first thing we need to do is observe the things that are in the way. We don't like what we see in that regard. Allow the breath to deliver some degree of ease. Just be the breath. That's a great focal point in our practice. Now I'm going to reach the arms forward, staying in the child's pose. See how much extension and length you can find in each arm. Treat them each as individuals. And as you're doing so, ask yourself to feel out, where is the movement for the extension emanating from? Is it in the wrists? Is it in each finger that's kind of creepy crawling forward? Ooh, is it in the shoulders? Could I extend the shoulder joint forward while sinking the butt back and breathe? And what is the spectrum of sensation I'm aware of traveling from the shoulder sockets all the way around those upper arms, extending forward through the elbows, into the forearms, into the wrists and the fingers? Do I still feel lengthening happening there? Can I let my neck go? Can I breathe? Maybe close the eyes. What's changing? What sensations are changing or fluctuating? Helping us gain an appreciation that nothing is static. And let's shift forward. Feel those sensations. And we'll tuck the toes under. Feel your toes. Use every opportunity to be on the mat to develop some level of awareness. Yoga cultivates and develops our awareness muscles. I'm going to start to lift the knees and hold and breathe. What can I feel here about my arms, my hips, my legs? Now asking the low abdomen and the butt to lift up as the legs straighten. Pushing the head downward or letting it sink. Tilting the tailbone up, pressing the heels back and down, breathing. Now I love to just directionally scan the body, either from the feet all the way up to the hands and the head, or from the hands all the way up and through the feet. But let's use the arms here, since the arms are in the front, in contact with the earth, and then the legs and the feet are in the back and in contact with the earth. So from the hands, how much pressure can you feel in each digit? Which digits or parts of the hand are doing more work? Can you even out, level out those sensations? Are there sensations in sections in between fingers that you haven't really noticed before? What does stretch and expansion in space feel like in this hand? Can we practice it? Can we invite ourselves to explore the expansion in the palms, in each finger? How about the wrists? Are we compressing down into the bones in the wrists? Ooh, what are we feeling? What are the muscles doing in the forearms? Are we unable to determine it because they're kind of still? You could always bend the elbows a little and straighten if you want to wake some things up and be aware. Upper arms, what's stretching, what's engaging, what's holding things stable? Shoulder sockets, armpits. I love bringing attention to the armpits and kind of saying, well, what are they doing? And I love it when my mind goes, well, should they be doing something? Why do I care about my armpits? You know what? It's a part of you. You should care. Live in it. Get the fullest bit that you can out of it. Shoulders, what are they doing? Each rib, what are they doing? Where's your breath? Feel the back of your neck. Can you let it go? Can you lift the tailbone up? What about your waist? What about your organs, your belly? Okay, we're going to come down into the pelvis. Come into your genitalia. What do you feel? Wrap around the thighs, the upper thighs, mid thighs, getting closer to the knees. What's going on? Backs of the calves, shins. Spread the toes now. Open the eyes. Look at the toes. Look at your feet. Can you expand them like your hands? Is your mind already tired of this journey that we just took inside of this body we live in? And then we'll bring the knees down and find your child's pose. Now, if you like, let's flip the palms up. Your knees can be wider together. And we just feel this bit of a difference. Breathe in. Breathe out. Can you relax your hands and stay here? What's the most loose you could be in all of your muscles, even if your arms ending up unrotating? If you just flopped in the body right here, what would you feel? What would you enjoy? What would you not enjoy? All right, let's come forward to hands and knees. So we've done a mountain. We've done a plank. We've done a child's pose. We've done a leg extension in the tabletop. We've done the tabletop. We've done a camel. And we have done a downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot up. Actually, I'm going to step my left foot up. Maybe have a block or a strap here, or a stool here. We're going to tuck the right toes, straighten that leg. Now spin that foot flat. So now the toes are aiming forward towards your camera or my camera. And my left foot, the toes are aiming forward. So they're at a 90 degree from one another. And you can walk your way up, all right? So you don't have to like strain the muscles to come up. Start to pay attention to how do I get where I'm going, bringing intention there. Now, I'm going to keep these toes aiming forward, those toes aiming there, and I'm going to ask these hips to aim forward and just notice what I feel. And I feel a little bit of tension on this hip. I feel a little stretch through this thigh. Just hold, stand up as tall as you can. So from here up, be in the mountain. Chest is lifting, shoulders are down. With the intention of all of the action of this upper body lifting. Bottom body's rooting. Now let's squeeze the thighs and relax the thighs. Kind of notice, what am I doing in my legs? Or am I just kind of standing here? Am I aware and intentional? Or am I unaware and non-deliberate? We want to be deliberate. We want to be here as fully as we can. Yoking, bringing together. Now I just want to feel the hips. I love to lubricate the hips before getting ready for a Trikonasana or triangle pose. So this is another standing space, a simple kind of rudimentary space, but also very important for us to get some space expansion in these hips. But let's say hello first. I'm in the rickety-crickety hip department, because I'm getting up there. So I want to be nice to my hips. All right, now I'm noticing I'm going to keep my head still and just work the hips. I was doing some extra movements, and so I want to isolate. Feel. Good. Now, this is my left leg that the toes are pointing forward. This is my right with the toes aiming toward you guys, all right? So I'm going to pull the right hip as though you've got a string on that hip. Pull it back, okay? Back. Hips thrusted a little bit forward, just a little bit. Try to keep your pelvis in between the arches of both feet. So if you could draw a line under your pelvis, could you aim that right there? Like here, it's way too far back. Here, it's way too far forward. Bringing it right here. Now that right hip. Squeeze this thigh. Don't lock that knee. What does that mean? Try not to jam that knee backwards till it locks, because then we're putting too much pressure backwards on the knee. So I want to keep it a little soft so it's just not locked back and it's not going forward. Now feel out that pelvic line again, pulling this back, squeeze both thighs to give them sturdiness, right? I like to see it as, think of it this way, like if we were building a building and you just poured the concrete, if we're not squeezing the thighs, it's wet concrete. Squeezing the thighs, boom, it's dry, nice and solid. Now let's reach through the whole left side of the underside of the rib cage, the side of the rib cage, forward. And you can let that hand rest below the knee or above the knee, whatever feels good to you. Let's just go ahead and bring this right hand to the waist or the hip and turn the chest open. You don't have to turn the gaze up, so your gaze can be down. And then just start to notice, what are we feeling? Feel it from the feet, through the ankles, through the heels, because you don't want dead space to happen there. All right? We don't want to lose feeling. We don't want to press so much that things start to go to sleep or get deadened. We want to make things feel alive in our yoga. We want to be alive in this vessel and gradually come up. Ooh, feel things coming back in place. Trying to eradicate any notion of the mind of I'm getting to the pose and then I'm starting the yoga. The yoga is the whole journey. Everything that we do, how we feel, and transitions. Let's spin and then spin. So we're just going to change sides. Let's turn the hips here. Come back to that mountain space. Wow, this part right here is super tight for me today. And we get to feel the hips again. Okay, because one hip is angled in one direction and the other's in another. And so on this side, we're just flipping roles, but we need to give it this attention. Notice what part of the tilting a certain area goes, oh, I don't know if I like that. And then another area is like, wow, I really love that on this side. Hips forward. Good. Now find your neutral space. We'll start to pull that left hip back. Squeeze the thigh. Don't lock the knee. And then we'll lengthen and reach, lengthen and reach, lengthen. Try to feel, oh, that's my shoulder. Here, I'm exaggerating that so you guys can see. That's me moving the shoulder. Here is me moving through the side, through the waist. Now I'm going to let that hand, for me, it's going to rest down here on this shin on this side. You can keep this arm extended if it is not creating stress here. We're trying to find peace, moksha, freedom. Thrusting the hips forward, rotating the chest. Where's your breath? You can be looking up or down. I would choose the path of least resistance and strain so that you can observe things with a peaceful mind, not in an aggressive, when the hell are we getting out of this pose mind. What are the nuances and spectrum of feeling? Maybe do it right now with your eyes closed. Scan from the feet all the way up. What is your left side of you saying? What's the right side of you saying? Delivering. And what's our relationship to the sensations we're feeling? Are we happy? Are we mad? Are we judgmental? Are we critical? Are we impatient? We'll bring ourselves up. Triangle. Good. Let's spin on that heel. I'm going to spin on this heel and bend this knee, keeping the hips forward. We'll bring the elbow down. Now try to thrust these hips forward. I'm going to show you this in a sideways view, okay? So it might look a little strange, but when I'm thrusting, I want you to not over thrust. So that's the straight back leg here. My knee is bent. All right, so now here's me pushing my butt back. Now, here's me bringing everything in alignment. Now, here's me overdoing it. Notice how much I've thrusted that hip forward. So I want to find that sweet spot. Push down into the baby toe edge, just to keep bones stacked over bones. Where's your breath? What does spaciousness in the groin feel like? What does contraction in the muscles of the inner thighs feel like? Both of them. What does pushing down into the earth in the feet feel like? Are there sections of the feet that are doing most of the work? Are there sections that are doing nothing at all? You could reach that arm up and overhead if you like. What are we feeling in the shoulder and the ribs? Lengthening, stretching. And we'll bring ourselves up. I'm going to switch sides now. And you know what? I'm just going to come here. Bend this knee. Keep the hips forward. Chest up. And then we'll bring this elbow here. Now, this could be like, okay, it feels too much basic. If it's too much basic, you could put a block here and have your hand here. Some of you may be able to bring your hands down here. Now, when I do that, however, move this arm out of the way so you can see this knee. All right. I want to see if I can keep that knee over the heel. What happens when we're reaching for the ground is that the hips give up space. So if I move my arms out of the way, keep this bent here. But if I reach for the floor and I come here, the hips are coming up and they're not staying in the depth. Now thrust the hips forward. You can keep that elbow on the knee. I'm just showing another variation. Be in the legs, be in your breath. Your gaze can be up or down. Where's the heat being generated? And inside of the sensations, where is it taking your mind? What is it making you want to do? How do you want to react? How do you bring peace to it? Can you just observe the desire to react? Can you observe all of the thoughts, but not react? Good. And we'll gradually bring ourselves back up. Maybe you came out already. Woo, feel those hips. Nice. And we'll bring ourselves down to seated. All right, so for some of you, if you're new, you may be noticing, okay, this isn't a flow. I thought yoga went from this to this to this to this. Yoga is so many things. I'm doing in this home yoga practice a way of breaking down our relationship to various postures based on a plan that we've made in the beginning of the week. All right. If you are looking for something that's more flowing, more of a call and response, a fitness model of a class, feel free to come to the Saturday, Sunday classes, or look them up on our playlist. The basics, power, chakra flow. That's a different experience. I hope that you can carry some of the things that I've been introducing in the home yoga practice into some of those flows, because it doesn't mean to stop doing this work, but can you carry this work into that so that you're more mindful rather than being less mindful? We don't want to go away in our yoga. Some people are like, oh, I love to go and like let my mind just float away in my yoga. Oh, no, keep it all in here. we want to see what's going on so we can learn from it. So that the next time we encounter craziness out there, we go, oh yeah, this is how my mind wants to react. I choose not to, so that then we're not like flipping off on somebody. All right. We're going to do a basic. First, we're going to do Badakanasana, and then I'm going to introduce a basic of Kurmasana. And Kurmasana is turtle. Badakanasana, some people refer to this as butterfly, but Bada means bound, Konasana means angle, Kona, angle, Asana means pose. All right. There's a little bit of Sanskrit for you too. You can be holding your shins or your ankles. Maybe clear some of your flesh so that you're pressing your sit bones down and feeling the connection with the earth. I think I see some words up here. Basic versions of triangle and side angle. Yay! New connections to feet and legs instead of just focusing on the upper body. Wonderful, Ansel. And it sounds like you've gotten a nice little connection into the pratyahara, understand, like feeling senses. Senses have so much to deliver for us. And primarily here today in our basic, I've been sticking with the sense of touch, maybe a little bit of sight withdrawal. And I promise, I'm almost finished with the blog post about the pratyahara. I'll put that up at the end of this class on the blog on Just Be Yoga, because I have some other exercises that you could do for your sight, for smell, sound, different things. All right, so let's feel the lift again. There are muscles around this torso that hold it together so that we're not a gelatinous lump, right? And we've got to lift ourselves up. So can you connect to these muscles to ask them to lift you? And we'll press the inner thighs open. You can hold your shins or ankles and feel that upward lift while pulling the shoulders down, relaxing the chin. Now, as you start to connect to that feeling, feel those sit bones. That's why I was talking about clearing out your flesh so that you can feel the sit bones. Where's your anchor point? What's rooting down? Now, what's lifting up? Now we've got arms, and our arms can help us hold here so that as we pull up, we're getting that stretch downward. But let's just bring our arms up, I Dream a Genie style for a moment, and then ask yourself to lift up. Some of you have heard over the years that if I were to ever pursue a 500-hour certification, because I've got three, but call it two in where is it going? Oh, the person that I would want to get the training from, his name is Matthew Sanford, because he teaches an integrative yoga primarily with people who have limbs that are not, who have lost limbs, or maybe they're paralyzed, maybe they're quadriplegic, maybe they're paraplegic. So if I were to teach this torso lifting without the arms And let's say I didn't have arms and I only had the upper part of these thighs. What would be the anchor point to push you down? Because right now there's a lot of ankle that's helping press down to lift the chest. But if we can start to tap in this way, we can actually start to say, no, they don't want to do this work. Stuff is getting tired really fast. Shoulders down, chest upright. But if you had no choice and you wanted your spine to sit upright, you would tap into those muscles. Those neck muscles would be lifting you erect, because otherwise we'd be down here, right? But we actually do have muscles here that can lift us. So let's ask them to be a part of this party. All right, you can let go of your I dream a genie. Just using that as an example. It also helps you be aware of, where's my leverage? Oh, I'm using my arms a lot. Oh, I'm using those ankles a lot. Let's breathe in and pull the chest up. Exhale as you lengthen your chest forward. Now stop when the body stops. Don't just round and hunch. Keep your gaze up and forward, pulling the shoulders back so you could protrude the chest. If you were a turtle, pulling the chest out of the shell. And breathe. Now I like to deliberately soften my fingers, soften my toes, be aware of what I'm clenching. I don't need to carry that sensory spectrum with me. And usually it's a sign that I'm responding to something that's really intense, and I'm feeling that now in my low back. Now for some of you, that can be in your inner thighs. That's just going to depend on where you are. Now, this is one of those postures where we have to be wary of seeking the memory of a feeling. Many of us have a childhood memory of a feeling or a childhood memory of a range of movement. And when we're coming into it today, we're not trying to feel today, we're trying to feel yesterday. Let me tell you, yesterday is gone. So why don't you feel and accept today? And that might mean you need to come up a little bit. And don't look at anything as a problem area. It's all information. We're just doing reconnaissance inside of our own bodies, inside of our own emotions, inside of our reactions. Ooh, and let's bring ourselves up. Take your time. Feel the stuff coming back into place. Okay, so that's Badakanasana. Okay, so you can stay here or you can take it forward. You could bring a pillow out here. So let's say, your body doesn't want to go that far. You can put a pillow out here, hang out all day. Yin yoga, great space to be. A lot of patience. We get to feel the transition of change over time. Because if you sit in that for 4 minutes, let me tell you, you're going to learn some things. And it's probably one of the safest postures to start off for a long period of time. Okay, it's kind of hard to hurt yourself in that, to hold for super long, especially if you use the pillow and then maybe lower the pillow, get a smaller pillow, switch it out, maybe then another smaller over time. Okay, I'm not saying to do that all in 30 seconds. Okay, all right, let's feel our hips. Maybe just check in right now. Okay, hey, I'm in my body. What have I done? What do I feel? What's awakened? What's not screaming that used to be screaming? What's already changed? What in my relationship to sensation has changed, right? Because that's the connection. Yoking, yoga. We're yoking together our mental awareness with our breath awareness, with our physicality awareness to work as one. Not to be in dominion over the body, not to have the body be the most important thing in our lives. Because you know what? We're going to leave this shell. This is really temporary. I like to believe, I firmly believe that my awareness, my consciousness, my sentience, that's infinite. This, finite. All right, so I've got the heels out here, toes are up, got the knees wide, lifting them up. And let's see about the upper body coming forward and notice the range. Notice a sense of freedom. Feel your skin touching skin, your folds. I love to involve my shoulders here because it gets a little twist in the spine. Ah, feel the belly, let it protrude. Maybe let your hands touch your feet or ankles, delivering some loving touch, recognizing that our hands and our arms not only deliver mobility for us, but they deliver emotion. They deliver caring and kindness or violence. But I choose to believe that right now we are communicating and expressing some kindness to ourselves. So let's use that and receive that. And then we'll bring the spine back up and let the hands trace the body. Let's come on back down and feel the touch, awakening that touch. We're hinging forward here. Be aware of your genitalia. Feel your genitalia. Maybe do a Kegel or a Mula Bandha where you're squeezing the sphincter and releasing. And again, for people who are new with me, if me mentioning certain areas of the body are distressing you, I'm terribly sorry. I try to use actual anatomical terms. Let's bring ourselves up and try not to trigger anything. But these are also areas of our body that we need to connect with and notice whether we have a negative relationship, positive relationship, whether we have a cling or an attachment or an aversion. Yoga helps us build our awareness of how we're seeing things. And are we seeing them truly, or are we seeing them through our reactions? All right, so I said we were going to get ready for a basic Kurmasana. I would say that this is about the most basic Kurmasana you can get. So your knees are bent. Some of you might be like, okay, I'm not that far down. You know what? That's about your low back and your hips, and you've done different things in your low back and your hips than I have. This is my neutral space. You might want a pillow to hold, breathe, pulling chest forward, not rounding the spine. Pull the chest and the chin forward. That's number one. Okay, so we got a little bit of an LOL, laugh out loud moment in our yoga, or a WTF. I love to always try to bring that element to our practice because we can really get into putting so much pressure on ourselves. So, it's just yoga, right? It's not rocket science. All right, so I'm going to take, this is my left hand. It looks like my right on the screen. Okay, so how about I change that? My right hand. I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to bring it underneath of this knee. Now for me, the bend of that knee is at the upper bone of my arm. It is not on the elbow. I don't want it on the elbow. Got my hand up toward that foot. I'm not taking it out to the side. We're just starting to feel our way, okay? And then just breathe, okay? So I'm just hanging out here, maybe sitting up, confronting, maybe feeling a little trapped or confined. And if that's happening in our mind, definitely come up. Maybe just hold your hands here. Feel all of the spaciousness, all of that freedom. This is a great opportunity for us to look at the relationship sensation and emotion and memory have, and what gets triggered. Now I'm going to take my hands back down, pulling the chest forward. Now, even pressing the hands down and using that for leverage to slide my chest and my spine forward. Ooh, I feel that in my low back. That's stretching away. You can tuck the chin down. Notice your feelings. Now, soften around intensity. Don't intensify around intensity. Fill up your low back and your low breath. Your low belly with breath. Could you deliver patience as a feeling with your breath? Could you deliver forgiveness as a feeling with your breath? Could you deliver freedom as a feeling with your breath? What sensations have gotten less intense? Or did our mind just not go into the focus of the intensity and it went somewhere else? Did it go with my words about patience, about freedom? Notice how that influence can change our experience of the present moment. And I'll bring the arms up and start to bring the spine up. Good. Alrighty. We are going to do a pigeon before we close. And I'm going to unfortunately deny us a Shavasana. But I feel like I haven't been in a pigeon in our basics in a bit. I haven't been in a pigeon a lot this week. Not in anything that I've taught. So, excuse me. We'll do a pigeon. I'm going to turn now onto my left leg. I'm going to keep this leg bent. And I'm going to bring this right knee back. Remember, we're just going to stay with the basics for now. Now, I've done that sideways so that you can see I would turn that chest to face this wall. But now I'm going to turn it and be in front of you all. Now, I've got that foot to the side, or I've got the top of the foot down. Got this shin out. Sorry. I've been running, and this left leg has definitely been asking for my attention as I'm running, so I'm paying attention. Sitting up. Remember what I said about the torso. If you need your I Dream a Genie, then do it. But ask that torso to lift itself. What do we feel down here when we actually apply upward energy here? Now, you could have a pillow out in front of you. We're going to bring ourselves forward. Now notice what you're feeling in the back of this right leg, maybe in the back of the right butt or deep center of it. You might feel a stretch or a restriction or a tightness in the back. Breathe. Remember what I said. We want to soften around the intensity, not intensify around intensity. Now you're probably feeling different categories of sensation. In my mind, I categorize some as the sharp brights. Others are the long and low. Like I feel like I hear a low tone, but it feels like a long feeling. You get to start to create a description for yourself, creating your own sensation mapping. And then get to know what are those feelings and how do you respond to them? How do you coexist with them? How do you make peace with them? When do you notice you're fighting them? When do you notice you're avoiding them? When do you notice you are meeting a new one for the first time? Can you let your body weight sink onto the intensity? Eyes open or closed. We'll travel our way up. Take your time. Personally, I would be there a whole nother at least 3-4 more minutes. But I'm going to respect you all's time today. I'm going to switch it out. I'm going to bring this left leg forward, this right knee back. All right. So now talked about this as most basic. Okay. So we get to have this curvature. There are other ways also. We could do this reclining to get a basic into a pigeon-esque kind of form. But this is, the beginning to get us ready for Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, the actual kingly pigeon. That was number one. I'm going to give stage 2 for folks, a different stage, for folks who may want to explore it. If you're good where you are, stay here. Many of us can't keep this torso upright because we want to lean, and so we're like hanging, chilling. So maybe this is enough just to work on your serratus muscles, those side waist muscles, to hold us up. Okay? All right, so that next option, I'm going to come sideways. You could start by just taking the knee back more. This leg could be in the shape of a 7, staying right where it was. And you could just take this knee back. And as you come forward, we're going to be stretching here in a more gentle way. Others of you may want to take this back that way. Now the inside of my knee is facing the floor, but I'm already starting to get some stretch in the front of this hip, okay? And that's getting toward our psoas. Now I'm going to turn my chest forward and come forward here. That automatically is starting to rotate that kneecap toward the floor. As your body adjusts day after day, time after time, you could then start to rotate the kneecap yourself, all right? But that may be creating limitations, tension, pain in the back, and definitely in the front of this hip. That's the area that's allowing the spine to lift upright. And then we'll come forward. So choose where you want it to be. And then let whatever sensations are exploding in your mental scape talk to you. Maybe use that focal point practice. Bring your attention to one focus area of the body and just observe it. Observe the sensations, all that you can, that are going on right now. What's changing about those sensations? What emotions get to surface from it? Maybe eyes are closed. Maybe it's super quiet in the room. Maybe your mind is chattery. Maybe just hearing those words made you realize your mind was less chattery. Can you touch the areas that are talking the most with your breath? And then let's gradually come up. We'll swing the legs out in front of us. If you have to leave, I thoroughly understand. I'm getting a little past time, but I do want to give us one reclining posture before we go. So we'll bring the legs out in front of us. Pay attention to how you get yourselves down. I'm not going to say a certain way to do it. Just bring your attention to as many of your senses and experience the act and movement and transition of coming down. Hi, Gina. Oh, you're working. Oh, wonderful. Gina, that's a lovely share. Gina said, this is for Ansel, who's on Facebook, on YouTube, that she can't physically practice at the moment because she's at work, but she's listening along and keeping, and it's helping to keep her present and grounded. Thank you, Gina. All right, so however it is that you wish to lower down, bring your attention and do it deliberately, mindfully, and observe. That's what I'm feeling. Oh, whoa, that muscle's tight. Oh, this part of me is saying soothing, thank you, soothing. And actually I'm going to walk the feet in. Feel the weight of your body and let it sink down. Feel your breath. Experience your physical body. We'll extend the right leg up toward the ceiling. Hold on behind the hamstring. And then start to invite that leg closer to you. Strong and straight. Now point your right toes to your face. Flex the entire foot. Driving the right heel up. What happened to your breath? What happened to your shoulders? What happened in your back? Can you invite the ease? Now pull a little bit more. Let's lean into the intensity and learn a little bit about the spectrum of intensity and our reactions. The reactions we're not even aware of, like the breath, like the other areas that are getting tense and tight. I'm going to bring my right hand inside of the right inner thigh and let the right leg fall open. Now I'm just going to let that leg go, and it's going to fall out of angle, but I'm just going to let it be where it is. Releasing as many muscles as I can and let my flesh sink heavy. Feel inactive, weightless flesh hanging. Feel the act of letting go. How would you categorize how this flesh feels? Saggy, heavy, sinking. Are there new words you could find? What's the spectrum of empty? Are the shoulders really empty? Is the weight of your head really empty? Well, bring the leg back up. Feel the muscles in your belly, your back, the inner thigh, the groin, bringing that leg back up and place it down. Feel the bending. Feel the foot come in contact with the earth. And then feel the lifting and extension, the stepping away from the earth, the extending up through the heel. Perhaps now let's grab a hold behind that leg, hands coming up as high as they want. Flex the toes, drive through the heel, pull the leg to us. That's about the note that I'm hearing in my head. Ooh-ah. Where's that tension kind of being evicted out of the leg and taking up residence somewhere else? How much have we honed some of our awareness muscle, our inner gazing muscle, so that we say, oh, wait, it didn't leave. It just relocated. You want to say, okay, I don't need to carry you, tension. I don't need you. I don't need to be afraid of you. I can feel you. I can get to know you. Now let's allow that left leg to fall open. And once it falls open, maybe you run into a baseboard like I did. But you could let that leg fall and flop out of position. And then focus on letting the body go. Use that focal point exercise of choose an area of the body. It could be a super small area. Really focal point area. And just notice what it's doing. How empty and heavy is it? Can it do it? Can it not do it? Can you forgive it? Either way. Choose another area. Don't let your focus inhibit your breath. And then we'll invite that leg back up. Feel the muscles engage slowly. Feel each piece. Feel any quiver that's going on. What happened to your neck? I tilted my chin up, so I've got to let my chin relax. Feel the bending in the knee. Feel the foot descending. Feel the weight of the calf. Feel the weight of your foot. Can you let that ankle go so much that you can feel the weight of the foot hanging from the ankle? And then feel the foot come in contact with the earth. Sink heavy in your abdomen and your low back. We'll slowly roll over and come upright. Feel your way. How do I get there? And Ansel's here. Ansel spent a good number of years doing Tai Chi with me, and the one of the aspects I love to try to bring into the yoga from Tai Chi is that how we get there matters. The one of the main things, it's a huge difference of Tai Chi and yoga. I mean, they have wonderful aspects that are really similar, but that Tai Chi is in constant movement. There is no there, right? So it's not like warrior two, static, boom, you draw it and you say, that is warrior two. And in Tai Chi, it would be getting to the warrior two, and out of the warrior two is the warrior two. So the extension, the actual movement. So the how we get there matters, and bringing the attentiveness of, oh, my armpit, then the upper arm, and then what is extending? What is creating? How is my torso helping me bring various movements in at the same time, so that I'm wholly present in the transitory nature, in the blending and the interrelatedness of energy and movement. But that's a whole different matter. I was just trying to emphasize that how we get up is going to also help us connect to our sensory space. Why don't we take a moment and connect and just do a check-in with your physical body? Your back could be against the wall. It's a great basic way of finding your sitting, so that the back and the spine get support, and we create that upward lift. Okay, so if you're still on your mat, you're still in your practice. Forget your mat. If you're still in your practice, because you could be in your practice driving in your car. What is your countenance? How are you occupying this vessel? Boom. This is me lazily occupying my vessel. This is me in my vessel. So choose. Scan the body. What kind of energy are you feeling from your body from different areas? Is there an aliveness, a vibrancy, a dullness, a fatigue, a pain, an injury? Notice your mind and how attuned it is right now to working in concert with whatever information the body wants to give it. And how the body is ready to receive the information that the mind, the spirit wants to give it. And how the breath is the voice, is the language that can help them both communicate with one another. A single Om, if you would like, connecting to vibration. Breath in. Hands to our heart center. At the Anjali Mudra, if you like, your hands can rest on your legs. You don't ever have to do a mudra. But I salute you. All that is love and light in me recognizes and salutes the same love and light that is in you. Thank you all so very much. Namaste. Thank you for joining in our journey in Pratyahara this week. I must confess, I actually really dug it. Some of the stuff we did yesterday, I was feeling this morning. I was like, what did I do? I was like, oh yeah, we held that for so long, defining different areas of power. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to be in that for a moment. Thank you all for joining. I'm Belinda, Just Be Yoga, our home yoga practice live. If you wish to give a donation, feel free to at paypal.me/justbeyoga. We're doing live yoga tomorrow at Crego Park, Crego. Check it out, Google it, come and join us. 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 11:30 power. Yes, 11:30 power. Outside. Once we're done, it's supposed to get up like close to like 89 tomorrow. So hopefully by the time we're done around 12:30, 1 o'clock, it won't be like blazing. But if you want, you can always jump in the lake. We'll be right beside the lake. You can jump in the lake right after it and cool off. If you want to join, I'm going to try my best to record it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do the live streaming tomorrow. I don't have a hotspot plan on that. On my speak words on the laptop. Might use the phone, but I can also learn how to let go, right? Impermanence, letting go, non-attachment, practice and detach. That's the path of yoga. All right. Thank you so much. Let me see what some of the last notes are here. Oh, I'm sorry, Ansel. It seems like even in a static posture in yoga, there is movement, exactly because there is energy, and energy is within it. That static posture, there are muscles that are holding this arm up against gravity. It's doing work. It is not being still. It is not void, right? Breath, attention, muscles trembling, energy, correct. Wonderful. Awesome. Awesome, Ansel. That's great. You felt yesterday, today as well, Claudia? Well, great. I really appreciate the blessing of being able to share yoga in this way. You all have really helped me grow as a teacher, at least I feel, or I'm just sitting here rambling. But I hope that in some way I'm helping share the depth of my practice and finding ways to share what I have been feeling in my practice with you. And if it serves you, great. Maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining. Namaste.